All right, I don't know if you guys saw this, but Jemele Hill, our friend at ESPN, went on, unbelievably, the Al Sharpton show. Al Sharpton, Reverend Al, the great political leader that is Reverend Al Sharpton. Reverend Al Sharpton evidently has an 8 a.m. Eastern early morning show that nobody watches. And on Reverend Al's Sunday morning show that nobody watches, that's on at 8 o'clock Eastern, on MSNBC, Al Sharpton decided to have on Jemele Hill. Now think about this for a moment. Jemele Hill went straight from getting fired at ESPN SportsCenter, a.k.a. forced out. It was her decision to leave. She goes straight from signing off at SportsCenter on Friday night to the Reverend Al studio on Saturday to sit for an exclusive interview. Now, the Reverend Al you last heard in the world of sports when he threatened to boycott ESPN if Jemele Hill were disciplined for calling the President of the United States a white supremacist. And then Reverend Al asks her about Donald Trump having the audacious, the ridiculous, the indefensible, the unbelievable position of saying that he thinks, wait for it, this is so controversial, it's so insensitive, it's so racist and so sexist and so discriminatory, I can't believe he said it. In his State of the Union address, Donald Trump said, that's why we stand for the national anthem, after addressing a 12-year-old boy who had put 40,000 flags on veterans' graves as a nonprofit decision. He had that kid in the gallery at the State of the Union address. It is so controversial right now in America that if you say, I think we should stand for the national anthem, everybody reacts and says, oh my God, how racist and sexist and inflammatory, what unbelievable rhetoric from the President of the United States. I want you to think about this for a minute. It is now controversial, according to the left wing in this country, to say that you should stand for the national anthem. I sometimes am blown away by the things that people argue about in this country today. It's now controversial to say that you should stand for the national anthem. By the way, let me say this. Props to Jemele Hill. Every time I think it's impossible for my thesis that ESPN has gone so far left-wing that they have turned into MSESPN to be proven anew any more concretely than it already has, Jemele Hill walks out of the SportsCenter studios and walks directly into Al Sharpton's MSNBC television studio. I don't know how she could do more of an FU to all of ESPN than what she did there. And once she's there, she says this. How do you feel when you heard the president in a State of the Union address still take a shot at people that are standing up about injustices? Al Sharpton, you dumb idiot. He did not take a shot at people standing up for injustices. He said, and by the way, they're kneeling and or not standing up. He said, that's why we stand for the national anthem, which isn't controversy. Jemele Hill said, I wasn't surprised, and I think this is going to be probably a constant thing for the president because it's a very easy dog whistle. It's low-hanging fruit. It's what I like to call racial pornography because it's a way to stoke his base. Now, I have seen racial pornography. It is very popular on Pornhub. Every time I go to Pornhub.com, there's a lot of interracial stuff that is on Pornhub.com. I went through all the popular stuff on Pornhub, right? I am blown away that the phrase racial pornography has been attached to the national anthem and not to actual racial pornography on Pornhub.